Well, that would be intellectually correct. STEYN IP.
Hello and welcome again to another podcast with us. I mean, you know it by now. He doesn't. You do. If not, if this is your first time, welcome. And I am going to, as usual, just ask my guest to introduce himself, because this is quite an interesting discussion. Michael and I had a discussion at Comic-Con last year about cybersecurity and things like that, and I mean that we had an amazing chat there, and I thought, no, it's definitely worth having a proper chat about it. And I know half an hour we can't even touch the surface, but at least start a conversation. And yeah, I think introduce yourself to the people, tell them who you are. I know the links will be somewhere here.
Yeah.
Jared will do his magic. But yeah.
Perfect. Firstly, thank you so much for having me once again. I know we ran over time last time. The conversation was just flowing.
Yeah.
But firstly, just to introduce myself to everyone that doesn't know me, my handle goes by ThatCyberSafetyGuy. I focus on creating technical cybersecurity content and focusing it around making everyone understand it. Because a lot of the time you see these content creators, these cybersecurity content creators, they say, I hack this person, or I use this technology, or so, a lot of people watch that and they don't even know what's going on in those videos most of the time. And I believe cyber safety and cybersecurity affects everyone, from scams, from child predators, from just generally just signing into your email address can be a major thing. And so my whole idea about creating this platform and creating all this educational type of content was actually creating a platform, firstly, that's free, that anyone can have access to, because unfortunately not everyone can pay to have cybersecurity training, or not everyone can pay to have someone come and consult them for this sort of stuff. So firstly I started from that, because I saw because I normally go and present at schools, and when I realized that there's a lot of problems out there but not a lot of solutions and education around it, that's why I created it. Secondly, also taking those technical aspects, like I said, mentioned the scams, breaking them down so everyone can actually understand it. And yeah, that's basically my whole mission, is creating that whole free online platform for everyone to learn and be safe with it.
No, and I think that is, I mean, that's what I commend about you, is the fact that you're doing this free, making it so accessible to everybody. And you mentioned schools, and I think that on that point, a lot of people believe they are not at risk. It's this misconception about, no, I'll spot it beforehand, or no, they won't target me, I'm fine. But it, like you mentioned, it's more than just the fraud aspect. There's the one thing that always pops in my mind when it comes to cyber safety is bullying, online bullying,
cyberbullying.
Yeah, you see that, and it's not just in schools. You see it everywhere. We've got a lot of influencers and celebrities as clients, and the amount of times that happens to them because people believe they can just say what they want.
Yeah.
And I can't go into the details about the case, but we just settled a case that was about that. It was two influencers that had a fallout somewhere, and it just became vindictive from the one side. And it's this belief that it's online, we're okay with it, and the risk there and how to address that. And I think that we don't need to chat about that now. That's not my intention. The reason I'm bringing it up is I know a lot of parents are watching this, and I think just even if you don't believe you'll fall in the trap of fake accounts and fraud and things like that, at least just for your kids' sake, check out these channels. The videos on there is amazing. We actually use it at my kids' school. We just share it with the parents so that they are aware of this.
All this sort of stuff.
And I see with my son, my generation doesn't even comprehend the interaction they have on mobile devices. Even if you have the screen time that a lot of parents apply, they live their life on that. That's their social interaction. Dropped my son this morning at school. One of his friends shouted, I'm like, hey, log in this afternoon, we'll play that game.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, cool. That's how they engage with each other. And then I realized, oh man, I know it's this kid, I don't even know what game they are playing. I monitor it so I can see, but I'm like, oh yeah, cognizant, check the game, ask my son after school, what game is it, make sure it's an appropriate game. I'll know it's an appropriate game or not because we monitor it, but sometimes stuff sneaks through.
Yeah, slip through the cracks.
And I think that's something, just on that note, parents, make sure you follow him. Like I said, handles are everywhere. But I think the one thing I wanted to actually chat to you about, and this is that concept where cyber safety is not, or cyber safety and security is not just online. Now I've got a practical example. One of the attorneys that work for us got scammed through a online store. Something was listed there, went through all the things, met at a safe place outside the shop where it supposedly was. He wanted to sell it to the second-hand store. Every check and balance he went through was there. And the moment he logged into his phone to do the payment, the guy grabbed the phone and ran off and just kept the phone open. Obviously, we quickly did what were supposed to do in here, because we've got a massive cyber security policy and things like that, so it was easy for us. But a scenario like that, and it's a real world scenario, what do people do in a situation like that? Like, okay, great, your phone was now grabbed. They are going to get into your phone. Unlocking a phone is actually not that difficult, or they just wait for you to unlock it and grab it and just keep the screen active. And there's a few practical tips that we apply here, but from you do this. This is your forte. What is the basic principles of just having that cognizance and that real world application for people when it comes to cyber safety and cyber security? Yeah, we'll go into the purely online stuff there, but I think that is what most people are at risk of, because your life is on your phone. What happens if somebody takes your phone?
Yeah, that's the biggest trouble I often find, and even when it comes to like an iPhone, for example, most of the time there's a specific setting that's turned on. You know, even if your phone's unlocked, you can still swipe down and access that control center. So for me personally, I have completely blocked that, because the second someone steals your phone and they swipe that down, they can turn on airplane mode.
Yeah.
And then suddenly your phone is offline. And as you mentioned, if someone would have grabbed you sitting in your car driving somewhere, you know, in South Africa, the smash and grabs and everything are through the roof. Or in that context, someone grabs it, and you have your bank account open, or you have your passwords on your phone. Like, it's so easy. Most criminals here in South Africa, if they were to steal your phone, they'll have the thing factory reset in a matter of no time. So I think it's when your phone gets stolen, 90% of the time it's a lost cause to get that cell phone back.
Yeah, no. You're not going to get a cell phone back. That's not something you're going to have.
No, exactly.
But it's the safety surrounding your data is on that phone.
Exactly. So I think I would firstly recommend changing all your passwords. Every single account that you can think of that person could potentially have access to, because you know some of us, a lot of us are guilty of this. On your notes, you'll have all your passwords there, or you'll have it open, or you'll send it to someone over WhatsApp. And the second some person has access to all that information on your phone, they can access literally everything. So firstly, change all your passwords. If you're using the same password for everything, you shouldn't be doing that.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's a no-no.
Also, set up that multi-factor authentication.
Yes, definitely.
You know, like a lot of people, they forget to actually set this stuff up. Even last night, my uncle sent me a message saying my Google got hacked. And you think in the back of your head, you're like, I'm related to you, you watch all my content and stuff. But you still don't go and do all this simple stuff, and it takes a couple of seconds. But at the end of the day, if your phone gets stolen, you need to just go out of your way to make sure all your passwords will change. Your multi-factor authentication is set up. If you like, monitor your bank accounts as well, monitor your emails. See if you like go into the sent, go into your transactions and see, okay, this small transaction has been made. I didn't make that, contact your bank immediately. It's all about that awareness of going onto your actual accounts, contacting the bank, contacting your social media platforms, and just changing everything. Because like you said, our phone of our lives, and we just have everything on it. Yeah.
No, and the one thing that, like, we've got a policy here, your phone needs to be, you have to have that third-tier authentication.
Yes, the apps and everything.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a authenticator from, I think it's Microsoft Authenticator, and Google has its own. And with those two, it works brilliantly. And every single thing is there. The other thing we do here is, instead of just the password or the facial scan for your phone to unlock, the key apps, we set up the secondary. Okay, great. If you go into your bank, instead of the normal login, to just open the app, you need to
enter
so it's just that, okay, great, I can't get on that. And what happened with this attorney is the first thing they did is they tried to reset all the passwords because his email is on the phone. So changing all your passwords, key.
Yeah.
But no, it's a massive issue. And the reason we are so adamant about it is most of my staff have their emails on their phone. So we make sure that the moment if a phone is lost or stolen,
everything needs to be on shut.
Contact IT and they just do their stuff. But it's still it's so risky and people don't do that.
But also in terms of like the big corporates or even organizations that have employees, like you said, you have access to emails, but other people have access to sensitive documents. They have access to their teams where everything is shared. So as a company as well, you need to think to yourself, how can we set up specific ways? Like a lot of the time, they would segment the phone. So you'll have a personal section where that person's personal section is there, and then you'll have a complete business section that's behind that. Triple authentication, passwords. There you'll have to get permission or be connected to a specific VPN to access it. So even those, as a company, if one of your employees' phones gets stolen, that's compromising you as a whole if you don't have all that stuff set up.
Yeah, and what people don't realize, I know a lot of big companies have this, but especially the SMMEs, they don't necessarily think of that because, say for instance, your accounts person in your office, or you do your own accounts for your company. All your company data and all your company funds and everything is there. And in most industries, you are liable for your company if your phone is stolen or you work for a big corporate and your phone is stolen, and through your platforms or yourself, and they withdraw money out of the corporate accounts, you're going to be held liable.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a massive risk. So yes, and I mean, I know people can contact you and get in touch with you. So corporates again.
Yeah, send a DM my way, an email.
It is essential for that, and it's becoming more and more. I want to say important. Important just doesn't feel like it's like enough, but it's so important for that. I mean, with us, we're a law firm. If you didn't know, we're a law firm, and every single time we open a new email account for a new person that starts, for a week or so, they get fake emails, masked emails from me and from other staff. It's not from us, but it's because people see somewhere, and attorneys especially are targeted with that because they know we work with trust funds and things like that. Especially conveyancers, that we're luckily not that, but that they get targeted for this, where it's spoof emails. Well, giving away my age if I say spoof. Fake emails that people send, like acting like either they're one of the partners or directors, or acting like they're a client, and it looks on the face of it like an internal email, everything. Our staff knows it's not. We have a very specific things we do in our internally to make sure stuff like that doesn't slip through. But we've heard horror stories from colleagues of ours, other law firms, where funds are accidentally transferred into the wrong account because somebody intersected an email and sent it, and it's like, oh wait, but we did pay you. No, you didn't. Yeah, but here's the proof of payment. Okay, but our account is wrong. And then everything looks like the actual email. Like I say, we've got things in place to make sure it doesn't work, but it happens somewhere. And then it becomes again great, you can have every single policy and system in place, but it becomes a human error. Mm-hmm. They miss it. So education, again, I'm pointing to his pages. Education is key. Having that constant training that a lot of people might not know, you are actually legally obligated to give your staff in terms of privacy law. You have to train your staff on privacy aspects, on POPI, the lovely thing that everybody cites incorrectly. But POPI actually requires you to make sure that the data you have for other people is kept safe, and what's the breach policies and things like that. And one of that is you need to have constant training for your staff on securing other people's data.
Yeah.
Because POPI doesn't say I can't have your data. POPI says how I must secure it and use it. That's that, and obviously share it. That's where the key thing comes in. And a lot of breaches happen there, where people just don't understand the principles of Oh, we didn't know, and didn't know is not enough. So training becomes essential.
Also, the amounts of horror stories I've heard from companies when they contact me and they say, "No, we're keeping all of our," especially you got your your web development companies. They use WordPress, they use all those different things, and they would like tell me saying like, "Oh no, we want to secure our information a bit more," and then I look into it for them, and then suddenly they have all of their customers' passwords on an Excel sheet that they share and send via email and everything. And you look at this and you think, why are you still doing this? There's so many better ways of securing this, even just like some cheaper softwares that you can use, or just use a password manager that you can keep and share and have a central master password. But it's scary the amounts of companies out there that aren't aware of this sort of stuff, and they're just compromising. And then suddenly, when you offer them a service to say, okay, we can fill this out for you, and say, no, we don't need this, until something does happen, and then they turn around and say, oh no, but this has happened to us, now you've lost a whole bunch.
And now you're sitting with the issue. I mean, what we do IP, and it's the same thing where people come to you and they're like, guys, you need to secure your IP. We need to file a trademark for you. We need to make sure there's sufficient copyright assignment and contracts in place, secrecy agreements. We need to secure your IP. No, we're fine.
Yeah.
A month later, somebody infringed us. It's too late now. What do we do now? It's like crashing a car and trying to get insurance after the fact. We can fix it so that it doesn't happen again, but it already happened.
So talking about infringements, I've got a question for you now.
Okay,
turning the tables do it. As a content creator myself. With the amount of deepfakes out there, companies actually taking your videos and stuff. Because even me, a lot of people, like I posted a video the other day about, there was that trend of everyone sharing their photos to ChatGPT.
Yeah, my word,
creating that, and it's free sharing, it's free training with ChatGPT. But there were so many people in my comment sections that were saying like, no, but you're busy saying this, but you got all these videos of you got this big following, I could go deepfake you tomorrow. I'm like, I'm aware of this. I've chosen to go down this path. Most people don't choose this path, and they end up getting tricked into sharing something like this, and that puts them into a compromise. But from an IP point of view, what would be the process if, let's say, one of your content creator comes up to you and says, no, this company in China or company in Germany or in America has taken my videos, deepfaked me, and they're showcasing my video and advertising it to millions of people, and it could potentially damage my reputation as a content creator. What are the steps you guys would follow in order to sort that out?
It's actually so simple for us to do that, because even though AI and deepfakes and stuff like that is new, the law that governs it is old, and the principles are still applicable. So yes, it's new technology, but when it breaks down to intellectual property, it's actually still the same principles. It's a new way of applying it, but it's still there. So it's something we know how to do. So the first thing is, yes, if somebody deepfakes you, people have personality rights. Obviously, the more, depending on what you do, where you are, if you're an online, like we call it like a celebrity status, or whether you, and I don't refer to celebrity in the traditional way, if you have a certain celebrity status, then you have certain personality rights that apply, different to a person that only shares photos on their Facebook. So you already have intellectual property in your own likeness. More so if you actually use your likeness to generate income, in your case. And in most online influencers' case, you can actually apply that intellectual property that's not registered or anything. It's a automatic vesting right. You can apply against deepfakes and things like that. It's slightly difficult because it's not registered, so it's a proof and it's a long fight. Easiest way to do it is if you have a registered trademark, and yes, you can register your name and your likeness as a trademark, especially in a case like yours. With that, doing online takedowns, doing trademark infringement aspects is so easy. There was, over the weekend, and late last week, internet blew up because there was a fight scene between Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise doing the rounds,
I saw that
was
one,
a deepfake. And that's actually quite cool. We did a post on that, I think, on Friday. Friday now, when the video comes out, it will be a few weeks extra back. But it came down to, this is intellectual property infringement. This AI platform didn't have the safeguards in place, essentially, that most of the big AI platforms have. Is like, if you go on to chat and you say, make me a stormtrooper, they're going to be like, no, we can't, it's copyright infringement. You can get around with good prompts, but the fact is it already knows certain copyright aspects. It appears that this platform didn't have all of those. It's a new platform, so it didn't go through all the training yet. But with the intellectual property side, they could enforce the rights against not just the person that created the content, because remember, there's now two sets of infringement here. You've got your infringement, who is the person that used the tool, but through the manner in which they used the tool, it came out that the enforcement could go against, to an extent, against the platform in this case, because they didn't have the relevant things in place. Yes, training data is sufficient, but it depends on how you use it. Is it analytical or things like that? In this case, they literally used the videos and the content online of these two famous actors, and they allowed people to reproduce it. So they retained the creative works, which is copyright infringement. But then there's the trademark aspects about the names and the likeness. So in short, and I know it sounds complicated, but in short, knowing your rights, understanding the fact that you have certain rights, and understanding that you must strengthen those rights through the appropriate registrations, like a trademark registration, would allow you to enforce against just getting those videos down. You don't even have to go and enforce it against the person that has posted it. With intellectual property, our firm and a lot of other platforms and firms can do this, can actually take the registered IP, this is where your trademark especially comes in, and go to Meta or to TikTok or to ICANN, who governs most websites, or to Google, and say, well, our client has this right, this is a problematic post, take it down. And they're like, okay, thank you, you've got a registered right, we accept it, take down the content. No questions asked, because that is the rule. You can do something similar by reporting it, and there's a
much longer process.
And most of the time you get back like, oh, we reviewed it and it's not against our company our public policy guidelines or stuff like that. And like, guys, community guidelines. I'm like, yeah, it is, but it's a bot you're talking to.
Yeah.
Where the takedown is actually dealing with the top level stuff, and I've got rights, this infringes the rights. Oh yeah, we see it does, and they take it down. And with that takedown can be anything from Google listings, search history, any Google listing is essentially something we can take down. Website content or websites as a whole, Facebook, social media content, social media posts, all of those things can be taken down simply if you have your IP in place. So essentially, have your IP in place and understand your rights. This is actually such a thing that works so closely to each other. And like I say, we actually do it quite often. Doing takedowns is something we do a few a week. It's easy for us to do it because we have the relationship with everybody. We can just flow it out. And then go to the core. That's the one thing that people sometimes don't understand is, you can do a takedown every time something pops up, but after 10 takedowns we're like, guys, somewhere this originates, and then you can go start looking at where does it originate, who's the platform, not a platform, the user behind all of these fake accounts, or not necessarily fake accounts, the unauthorized postings, the deep fakes, and then with the correct IP again in place, you can actually have that user banned. So they can't open any similar or anything under there. There's ways around it. They just make a new email address and they just do it again. But the effort they have to go through.
Or even just IP ban them.
And there's manners in which to do it. So intellectual property becomes essential because these platforms have the facilities to do it. You must just follow the steps. And it's going to become so much more, again, important, understanding how intellectual property and online safety becomes merged more and more and more. Because if we start looking at online universes and the metaverse they usually spoke about. I remember when I studied, and that's a while ago, there was this philosophy lecturer we had to say, well, what if one day I have a game and I can actually live in the game and it's a simulation and I can own property in the game? And it was this, what are you talking about? All of a sudden it's becoming a reality, and it's going to become more and more of a reality. I don't know if anybody watched The Peripheral, brilliant show on Amazon.
No,
it's very, it's like futuristic, not in a weird way, but it goes into this simulation theory. Like people start living in Sims, and okay, well, I'm not going to give away spoiler alert, but it goes a step beyond, and it's a you watch this movie and you're like, this doesn't feel like unrealistic future. This feels like something that's possible. But the security risks that becomes there when you are in a simulation, all the intellectual property aspects will apply, all the safety aspects will apply, and I think even more so because you're fully submerged in this digital realm. Instead of just your phone and your computer,
everything is going to be submerged. You might be going to work and it's sitting in your bed every single day.
And I mean, the risk there is insane if you don't understand it. So yes, IP is there, and understand it similar to the cyber safety aspects. And also I think people like us and people like you will start collaborating more and more and more, because infringement isn't any the shop that sells fake Nikes. That we see that now, and it's there. But the infringement we see now is fake accounts.
Yeah.
People making spoof accounts and you won, but you look like this, and they've got more followers sometimes than the real account. So they look like the real account, and then they go through their motions, and your account, the original account, sometimes gets blocked because that criminals are smart people. Don't underestimate it. They are extremely capable. They use these tools, and before you know it, and let's be honest, everybody's business, your marketing gets directed to online content, and more so to AI, because what do people read now? They Google and they read the AI. That's that.
Summary,
So your marketing is now focusing from I wanted to be on the first page to the first 3 to I don't care where I'm listed as long as I'm mentioned in the AI. People the criminals and the fraudsters start using that to just make more and more money off the back of you, of your IP, of your reputation. So similar to what you said, it's a reputational risk for me that somebody's deep faking me. There's similarly a financial risk, because instead of somebody going vindictively trying to derail your reputation, they might just be like, you have a massive reputation, I want to sell this legitimate product, AI safety mechanism I can plug into my computer. People don't know me. I'm going to use your face to promote my product
and try and sell it on there.
And then you lose revenue. Because there's no reputational harm in that. There is to an extent, but not in a traditional way. The risk there and the issue there is there's false association. So there's a commercial aspect to that as well, where intellectual property plays a massive role. And I'm excited and scared at the same time.
It's the exact same with me. Seeing the new stuff that's coming through. I don't know if and we're going back to that whole cell phone aspect and being stolen. From a different aspect of actually downloading stuff onto your phone. I don't know if you saw my rat video, the random access Trojan. How just downloading something on your phone can give someone full access. And that also, like I said, having sensitive documents on your phones, having those emails, and now suddenly you've downloaded something by mistake, and now this person has full access to your device and all of those emails and everything. Like when I filmed that video, and the amount of people and companies that were messaging me, and some people were saying like, no, my mom just did this and she lost 400,000 rand. And then they're asking me, how can we get this money back? And I'm like, unfortunately, I can't go contact the bank. And then someone did contact me, also works in cybersecurity, that happened to their mom. And luckily they had access to everything. So they could build an entire case behind it. They knew exactly the signs to look out for. And obviously I can't go do this for every single person that DMs me, unfortunately. But he managed to get his money back. Which just shows you that, and it goes back to like companies that you put your money into, companies that hold your information, and you sign all these things saying that they'll protect your information.
Yeah.
What responsibility do they actually have over that?
Yeah.
Because something bad happens, and then most of the responsibility just falls onto you. Your money's gone. Oh, so sorry. You clicked on the link, or so you posting online. Oh, you shouldn't have posted so much information online, and the companies don't really take responsibility.
No.
It also links back to pedophilic predators. Games like Roblox, for example, or even Spotify. I don't know if you saw that case that happened on Spotify, where a predator was speaking to a 11-year-old child, and they only just recently added a messaging feature, but that was before that. What they were basically doing was they were creating albums. You can create albums of songs and stuff, and they were talking through the actual titles of that. And the way he managed to get the photos from this little girl was actually changing the profile photos or the photos of those titles to those images. And then obviously everyone could see that. And you can see Spotify doesn't take responsibility for that. They say,
so it just writes away.
Someone should have just known about this, so we'll make changes in the future, and then nothing actually gets done. And that's a scary thing. That's what's also nice seeing companies like your ones that actually say like, listen, we'll protect you. We'll take those companies and hold them accountable for what they actually need to do.
Yeah, and the one thing, and why a lot of the companies don't take responsibility for it and just say, but you did this. Their contracts and those terms and conditions that everybody just click without reading usually waive that liability. Say that if there's anything that you might have done that might have caused this to happen, we have no liability on it. We take every precaution to safeguard your data, but accidents happen. It's your problem. And some companies do that, and it's because their lawyers told them to do that. I'm going to be blatantly honest. If my clients come to me, I would want to waive as much responsibility from them as possible, because my obligation is towards my client. Yes, there's an ethical obligation, a legal obligation as well that we will always adhere to. But within the ambit of law, there's certain things that you can waive, and my responsibility is keeping my clients safe.
It's always covering yourselves and your clients.
Yeah, and that's the situation. So, unfortunately, that's what lawyers do. Is we make sure that I'm not going to be in business long if I'm like, you know what, my client is going to be liable. It's not. We are there to make sure our clients are there, and then we're in a nice position where we can actually choose our clients. So we can decide on an ethical basis whether it's
I'm guessing it's a nice thing to have, but it also can be a headache when you're dealing with someone else that has all those things in place.
No, it is. And so essentially, don't just click T's and C's, read them, understand them.
Even if they're hundreds of pages.
I hate it if people use AI to interpret documents, but I think this is an exception. Before you click on the terms and conditions, copy the terms and conditions into your AI and say, hey, please highlight the risks towards me as the user. Use that prompt. Hey, please highlight the risks towards me as the user in the following. And then you copy and paste the terms and conditions. It won't be 100% accurate, but at least it will highlight the things like, you have to be concerned about that. And then I'm blatantly honest. The terms and conditions, we tell our clients as well, terms and conditions are those accept or leave. And then you have to decide, are you comfortable with it or you're going to leave? You're not going to argue with the platform because it's not a contractual negotiation. It's a binding contract that you can just either accept or not. So sometimes it's worth not accepting. And another tip that I can give you is everybody just accept all cookies. Don't. Press the X at the top, say do not track cookies, or say just only the essentials, and then once every now and then, I sort of tend to do it once a week, go and delete that cache history, because then they can't track it. Cookies it's such a nice way of saying, hey, we can watch what you're doing. If it says, hi, can we watch what you're doing, you're going to be like, no, but hey, we use cookies. Oh, that sounds nice.
It's going to make the website faster for you.
And it's like, it does. It has its benefits. Cookies actually do apply certain things, but it has a massive risk in the long run.
But even nowadays, when you download an app onto your phone and it asks for those permissions to access everything, it's scary what apps actually ask for. Most of the time, you don't even realize. Like even one thing I absolutely hate, and I know this is completely biased, it's but it's like Windows, and how Windows constantly spies me. Unfortunately, I have to use it for work, or even when
everybody
it comes to gaming
nowadays.
You have to use it. But like you see all these stories, and when you start looking into it and going into your settings, like every few seconds it takes a screenshot of your screen. Or I saw one the other day where it's like the distribution of the updates and everything. Everything is connected to one massive network, and that makes it a lot easier for them to send these updates around. So the amount of risk is actually putting you in, and you don't even realize. Like, and everyone is forced to use it.
Yeah, it's one of those accepted or leave.
Sorry, you can't use your computer.
I mean, Microsoft, especially, I know in other countries it's slightly different, but in South Africa, I think majority of companies run off Microsoft.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the staple business tool in South Africa, because that's what we all use. And then somebody comes, but Google Drive is better. I'm like, okay, but we use Microsoft, so I need something to talk together. Or, no, but I've got Apple. I
use Linux.
And it's like, okay, great, but now I can't talk to my clients. Yeah. So you use Microsoft because because everybody's going there, but the risks are there, and it's scary sometimes. I mean, we've got full-time IT guys that they constantly, they know I'm a pain when it comes to stuff like that. Fix it, check it, make sure this is right. And our platforms, most of the digital tools we use, if there's a drop in the internet, it logs out because people ping. And I know my IT guy explained it to me, and I don't know the technicalities behind it, but essentially what people sometimes do is they never use free Wi-Fi.
We'll speak about that just now.
I'm like, remember that point. But what I do is, even on secure Wi-Fi, they can park outside and they ping your Wi-Fi constantly, and somewhere your internet drops, and they can just find a way in. So what our systems do is, if your internet drops even so slightly, everything logs out, because to prevent that. Yes, it's a pain in the arse if the internet just drops naturally, but rather safe than sorry. So there's a lot of actually such basic principles and things and counter software and stuff you can put in, but you need to keep it updated. So public Wi-Fi.
Public Wi-Fi is a different story. I still don't understand how people just go and sit and connect to their work laptops, and so there's multiple different aspects behind that. Firstly, there's something called a man-in-the-middle attack, where remember we mentioned earlier about sending an email and then that bank information changes. So if you are on an open network and you don't have connection, you're not connected to a VPN, or you don't have anything in place to actually protect you, so you could send that email while I'm on the same network, or I've created a fake network that you've joined. I could grab that email, change the information, and then just send it through to the person you're sending. So that's one aspect. Another thing, I did this myself. I don't know if you've ever heard of what's the name of it now? It's a hacking tool that has a dolphin on it.
Yes. I know.
FlipperZero.
Yes.
So I used a FlipperZero, and I went to a cafe and I created a Wi-Fi network that looked identical, same name, but just completely open. And when people went and clicked on it, it took them to a fake Google login site. And then they filled their information and their passwords and stuff, so they were sent directly to the device I was using. Obviously, that's a very basic level. You got your something called a pineapple and everything that you can use. That's a lot more vicious of an attack. But please don't go and connect to open networks.
And the moment a network asks you to sign in, just like
say no, unless it's something that you really trust. And I've joined a new gym recently, and they've also, every single time you go, you have to reconnect and go into that login page. I just don't use it.
No,
I don't trust it at all.
No, it's that free Wi-Fi is one of those things. Like, we don't. My staff knows they can't connect our computers to a free Wi-Fi. You make you connect your phone. Your own phone that we know is fine. You can what do they call it? Personal hotspot.
The hotspots.
And that's, it's still not the safest thing in the world, but it's more secure, at least in that way. And then they log into our because we've got a fixed IP, so we would know exactly what comes in, and you won't be able to log in unless you're one of the computers.
To a VPN.
And it's essential, but not everybody does that. Plus, it's not fail-safe. It's still the human. Hey guys, here's the documents. Please download it. Click, boom.
Everything is done.
Everyone's in. So staff also knows they're not allowed to. If I send them something to download, or if they send somebody each other, you get up and you go say, I just sent you something. It is a safe link.
Yeah.
You don't. It's still that human interface because it's so easy for people. But public Wi-Fi's, and I actually wanted to get myself a flipper. Just after I watched the videos and the stuff you did, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Not to hack people, but like it's quite a useful tool.
It is quite a useful tool, but when you buy it straight out the market, it's not that useful.
Yeah.
You can do very basic stuff. You still have to crack the thing and install your own software. Obviously, all that stuff can be found on the internet, but you have to crack the whole thing, install your software, so you gain access to all the real
cool
fun.
But let's be honest. What it comes down to is open market. Criminals can buy tools that they can quickly online download the cracks, and they would be able to do it, and then use a tool that's the size of an old Nokia phone, or even smaller. It's the size of a dongle almost. Yeah, the flipper.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the flipper, again, go watch his videos. And do things like hack Wi-Fi's, get all the passwords.
So you don't even need something like that. Normally you'd spend like what those like cost like $2,000, $3,000, somewhere around there. I could go build something that works the exact same using a Raspberry Pi, and it will cost me like $300.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much easier, and everything is available on the internet.
Yeah.
When it comes to learning something, you just go watch a YouTube video. If someone wants to hold a company ransomware, they don't have to go sit and learn how to hack and learn how to code and everything.
Yeah.
They just go find a ransomware as a service. They hire it. They'll go and purchase their software, and then everything is done for them. It's so easy nowadays just to become a cyber criminal. And people always ask me, but why are you doing this like on like a positive note? Why don't you go and do all those dodgy dealings and like? But it all comes down to ethics.
It does. We actually appoint or employ a white hat hacker. Now, if you don't know what white and black and grey hat is, I'm not going to Google it. But we actually employ a white hat hacker, and the abilities this guy has is scary. And I once had this discussion with him, and he's like, because it's wrong. So the fact is, he can take over your life with a few keystrokes, but he doesn't because he knows it's wrong.
It's that fine line between what is right and
that
what is
fine
wrong.
line is essentially what it comes down to. Not a lot of people have that moral line. And it's so and I've seen, because we use them in some cases and takedowns and stuff like that, obviously to an extent that we can do, and it's so easy for me. He just goes and he logs in here and he does that and he does what he's allowed to do, and that's it. It takes him 10 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, so you can do that to anyone. You won't, but the fact is some people will. They'll just for the fun. I know there's people that do this for the fun. They just want to see. I've got an old book, like very old, Future Crimes. It's a written book where the author wrote that he sat in a lobby or somewhere waiting for his plane, and while he was on his phone, he got a message about people that the guy just said, "Oh, thank you, I hacked you," and everything's deleted. And he wrote, and the hacker was adamant, like he wanted to see if he can do it, and he did it for the fun. And the entire guy's, his photos, everything was deleted.
It's gone.
Because this guy he did it, the hacker did it for the fun. And you get people like that as well.
But also you often get people that are starting to learn like ethical hacking and stuff. I don't know if you've heard of Hack the Box and everything. Where it's like a platform where you can go learn hacking and stuff. So people jump onto those sort of platforms, start learning, and then they'll learn about vulnerabilities on websites, and then they decide they'll do the same thing. Oh, I'm curious to see if I can go into this website and find a vulnerability. Especially in South Africa, where a lot of companies are using older domains, they don't really update their websites. There's all those vulnerabilities. But please, if you're learning that stuff, don't go and just do it. It is illegal to go and just.
And we can try, like the guy, I'm not allowed to say his name. And I won't.
Completely understandable.
But he's able to trace those things. He can go into, and we've had it in another case where he's like, great, the guys here, this floor, you'll find them around terminal that. Because they have the ability to trace these things.
Especially your
it's
newer
insane.
guys that are into it, they leave so many traces
Oh, yeah,
behind.
they do.
But someone like him, you'll never be able to.
No, you won't.
him.
I mean, if he wants to become a black hat, we would be. He'll destroy you because he knows exactly how to lock himself out and goes through various VPNs, and he knows exactly how to cover his tracks, and a lot of people do. So the fact it comes down to it's every step you take to protect yourself, somebody's already trying to circumvent it.
Yeah.
So you have to constantly secure yourself and be cognizant of these things and engage with guys like you. Educate yourself on the aspects. Get your IT guys to understand this, and if an IT guy is just your friend that decided he's going to do IT change, nothing against your friend, but we're in an industry where your cybersecurity is essential, and you get cybersecurity specialists. So it's not your IT guy that's going to do your cybersecurity, it's somebody that specializes in cybersecurity.
And one misunderstanding people have cybersecurity, they think one person does cybersecurity, they can do every aspect of cybersecurity. No. Like for example, you got your white hat hackers, people that have gone on the hacking route. My specialization was in network and security engineering. So that's like securing networks, building networks, making sure they're secure. But obviously I wanted to go more down the cyber safety route and the education route, more so. Well, obviously I can do all the technical stuff, but I find, for me personally, I find there's more value in the actual education aspect. Because there's lots of people out there that are handling the technical scenario situation, not really the education situation.
Yeah.
But they think, oh, this person's done IT, or this person's done a certificate in cybersecurity, they can come and secure my whole company. That's not the case. No. Normally you need an entire team.
Yeah.
You need the ones that protect you, and you need the ones that will penetration test you. And there's so many different aspects. Like I said, don't just trust that your friend that's an IT guy to come and secure everything for you.
And it's similar in our industry. I'm glad you brought it up because we've got the same thing. Lawyers aren't just lawyers. We see it so many times. No man, I had my lawyer do it. Okay, what is your lawyer? No, he handled my divorce, so he handled this. I'm like, but even not just law and principle, there's so many facets of law and people specialize in specific things. We specialize in intellectual property, but internally we've got specialist departments we've got our patent department and they specialize in patents, and we've got our commercial department, and that what they do is they do commercial agreements and franchise and stuff like that. Then we've got trademarks and we've got copyright and we've got designs because it's specialty. So just because it's IP, it's not just, oh, you can do everything. You have your specialists. Exactly. And we all work together as a team to make sure that our clients are fine. And the same with IT. I say IT, not a guy that works on your computer. I use this in a general term because I know the public just talks about IT. Your cybersecurity, it's specialists, and also depending on the industry you're in. If you're in the finance industry, your risk is vastly different than somebody that does data processing.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the guy that's going to hack you because you deal with people's money is not the same target as the guy that's going to hack you because you've got everybody's ID numbers. It's
all
need
very
two different things.
It's all based on experience, what you specialize in. Even cybersecurity specialists in airports. That's a completely different ballgame, that one. On mines, where someone could hack your entire mining rig or even oil rigs out there.
And those things
so
are
many different aspects.
Automated.
Yeah, exactly. So like you said, you won't go to a divorce lawyer if you got something wrong with your IP or something wrong with your estate.
We usually tell people that for some reason people understand the concept of doctors.
Yeah.
You're not going to a heart specialist if you have, if you need brain surgery.
You got a problem with your foot or something.
Yeah, you go. People understand that. I go to a specialist because my foot is sore. I'm going to. I think they call it a proctologist or something like that. Probably not. Sorry, I'm not a doctor. But you go to the guy that specializes in this, and everybody understands that principle. I go to a general practitioner and give him basic advice, and for my colds and flus. But I'll go to a heart specialist for my heart. An eye specialist for my eyes, and this for that, and they understand it and they accept it. But for other,
when it comes to something completely,
and they're like, yeah, but it's a lawyer, yeah, but it's an IT guy, yeah, he does cyber security, so it's fine. They forget that, yeah, but you get specialists, and you mentioned something like the penetration test. You know how many people, our clients we have, and we're like, yeah, no, security is fine and stuff. We're like, yeah, we don't deal with the hacking and stuff like that. That's different. We look at your legal compliance side, and is your IP safe? Because to us, a lot of clients keep their intellectual property assets secure on their servers. Okay, great. So somebody can hack that, and then they've got your IP. So we do penetration tests, and this is again where our friend, the hacker, the white hat, comes in. He does penetration tests on clients that obviously they tell us to see where the vulnerabilities is, and people are so confident. Yeah, no, hey, fine,
No one's
fine,
touching
fine.
my stuff. Yeah.
Boop. It's like, okay, this, we've got that access. It's not fine, and then they're like, oh no, I thought it was fine, because they don't. If you don't understand, unless you are a cyber security and cyber safety specialist, you're not going to know what the risks are.
No,
That's
exactly.
what it comes down to.
I was on another podcast the other day, and we were talking something similar to this. They were talking about TV, you know, those TV boxes you plug in, and I brought out the interesting aspect of segmenting your Wi-Fi at home, because all those, like if you have like a Google Home, if you have an IP camera, if you have one of those TV boxes, I'm a firm believer of putting that stuff on a separate network compared to your work laptop or your cell phone, or even when guests come in, put them on a separate network. Because also with that white hat hacker, what he would normally do is he would go find something that has the weakest security. So like let's say the IP camera, they normally have very weak securities, and because that's connected to your main network, he'll move from there onto your main network, and then he has access to everything. So that's normally, people think I can just have one Wi-Fi. Companies think I can just have one Wi-Fi, everything connected into one network, and then suddenly
it's
you move
vulnerable.
through like it's.
That's
like
usually
it's
why you see guest and main and stuff at big corporates. Is they segment it because of security reasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't even understand why, but they just do it
just
because
do
somebody
it.
told them to do it, and they accept it. Which comes down to people should, and we are in it, and I'm cognizant of the time, because I know people start like after half an hour. We're in a space in our society where information is readily available without verification.
Yeah.
So people tend to like, no, I'll ask AI for it, or I'll Google it, or I'll watch a YouTube video about it. But they forget that those things aren't necessarily accurate. So, and then they believe they can do it, the DIY generation. We can do it ourselves. You can, but should you? It's the question. It's like, okay, yeah, I get the signal. So anybody that has been on a podcast before knows what happens here on the side, but I know people don't, and I'm sorry, I tend to just comment. But it's that, I want to say, trusting unverified information more than it's misinformation. It's just not always verified or accurate.
And one thing about that, and I often think about it in my context as well, as someone, you start gaining a large amount of following and stuff like that, people start to trust you. So tomorrow I could go post a video talking the biggest load of nonsense, and there would still be people that'll be like, oh my gosh, can you believe this? Can you see this?
Yeah.
It's scary, like how people often just believe whatever they see on the internet.
I know, and it's and now we go full circle, especially with deepfakes and AI videos. I remember somebody, I'm not going to say who, but they'll know who they are. They came to me like, oh, did you see this? I'm like, this is not how. And it was somebody jumping out of a helicopter into deep ocean, and I'm like, how did the camera following down
into the ocean? Yeah,
they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, this is AI. It's brilliant. You can't really spot it unless you realize where to look. So, but it comes down to people trust what's on the internet just blindly, and I follow you, so whatever you say would be there.
And then you're gonna send it like
and you're gonna share it, and all of a sudden,
and then suddenly this whole false information.
And like, I trust you, and I know he is trustworthy. We can verify that. But there's so many people that just, and one of our influencer clients actually contacted me. She's like, she does stand-up comedy. Nothing she says is serious. People should know it's not serious. But then people believe what she's saying. And she's like, how did you think I was serious?
But also one thing I often find, we'll go back to, it goes back to the cyberbullying and also taking things seriously. One thing I always get hated on is my accent. Yeah, because I was originally born in Gauteng, then I moved to Durban, and my wife is also Indian. So, there's a whole different aspects coming in that full South African swing.
Yeah.
But people in my comment section say, what is this accent? Someone said the other day, why are you putting on a fake accent? And I'm like, why would I go and do something like that? I post content every single day. Why would I sit in front of the camera and think, okay, let me go and change my accent completely and make it seem like it's something that's not.
Yeah, no, that is a topic for a different time. The amount of then we did a post about a band and online infringement and stuff, and I didn't AI generate the image. I just put a filter over it so that it looks similar to the rest of our content. And I sort of know the moment I say this, there's going to be a comment about this. And the amount of hate, people are like, oh, you're using AI.
Yeah, towards artificial intelligence.
Guys, fine, don't follow us.
Yeah.
But people have this need to now that they need to tell you what they believe.
Yeah.
And it's online, and it's been there forever. And
I think for me personally, it's dependent on how much you use AI on your things.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're generating general stuff, or also I saw a post. It was a big. It's a cybersecurity platform. They have 400,000 followers, and they posted something AI. But the content on the lot was the same content repeated over and over again. Obviously, the person didn't proofread it. So in situations like that, you say, okay,
guys, serious.
Just you can go and sit and put together something like that. But most of the time, companies don't have the money to go and invest in a filming crew. Or a cinematographer, or have actors come and filming stuff. So it's easier to go that way.
Yeah,
At the end of the day,
there's nothing wrong with AI if you use it responsibly and ethically.
Exactly.
Open about, no, this is AI. But that, again, it's a topic for a different time.
Completely different story, yeah.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Final tips. Final anything you want to leave us
Firstly, learn your IP. That's one thing for sure. Secondly, as well, I always say, when it comes to cyber safety and cyber security, it's all about knowing what you know. If you sit there and you don't educate yourself and you don't go and ask for help from people, because there's people out there like me and like you, that I'm sure if someone sends you a DM asking a basic question, you will go and reply to them happily.
By all means.
Go do it. There's people like us out there, and don't turn around and say, oh, I didn't know, or this happened to me. Because if you're not learning beforehand and you're not taking the responsibility to educate yourself, at the end of the day, something is bound to happen, So, yeah.
No, and I can add to that. We have a general rule in law: ignorance is not a defense.
Definitely not.
So,
especially nowadays with the amount of information on the internet.
No, you can't say I didn't know. I didn't know does not absolve you from wrongdoing or not doing what you're supposed to do. Because in law, there's two things: doing something wrong and not doing something that you should have done.
Yeah,
has the same impact. So, know your IP and your cybersecurity.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Thanks.
Thank
thanks
you so much.
Thanks again for. I think we're gonna have another one soon.
Yeah,
but I'll come to you.
Yeah, I still need to set up my podcast studio and everything. That's something I'm working on. There's lots in the pipeline. A lot in the pipeline. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.